I have
was-
not thought about Monster House in
I
fucking
hadn't
forever.
either, and like then we did this. This was the idea, and then that came into my head, and like I remember being that movie was genuinely frightening. Just the imagery and stuff that they did in that movie, like it was genuinely a very scary movie.
Yeah,
as a kid.
the fucking house itself is fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
There is one great joke in that film though that I still always remember.
What?
So when they recruit the, so they have there's the two main characters, the guy who just recently moved there, and then the goofy side, like comic relief character. There's also the girl who's like initially the skeptic that shows up, and then when she sees the house that almost fucking eats her, she basically joins them in their like crusade against the house. And at one point they're in their secret laboratory where they're like conducting their investigation, and they're going through all their stuff that they found. And at one point it showcases a random like closed like soda bottle, and he just goes, "Don't drink that." And I'm just like, wonderful. Hey guys, I'm Bill, a one-time Instagram blogger and now a podcaster.
And I'm Alex, the chaotic neutral,
And together we are the Gaming and Collecting Podcast
a brother-sister duo,
that talks about gaming.
and also anime.
And don't forget the collecting, sometimes.
Ah, forget it. We're just a nostalgia podcast at this point.
But anyways, guys, thanks for joining us as we discuss the games that shaped us. So, how you been?
Scared. The creepy bear is here.
Just ignore the bear.
He's watching me with his demented eyes.
Well, until we can find a better alternative for recording, we're gonna have to deal, so... Because Zencastr sucks. I recorded a podcast last night on Riverside, and that also wasn't great. So... So the search is going to continue, but in the meantime, how you been?
When was the last time we recorded?
Last week we did the Saturn episode.
Oh yeah, last Thursday. Was that Thursday?
Yep.
Let's see what's happened since then. I went to a dance competition.
And you did well.
I got second, and I don't know how I did.
They like you.
I like almost fell twice, and then like I was not very good, so I don't know how I pulled out a second, but I'll take it. And I got another one this weekend too. Mom's gonna come up and road trip with me because it's in New Jersey, but it'll be like the good old days.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing you need me to feed your cat.
Well, I don't know. It depends what time we get back.
Oh, well, I
In
think
the afternoon, maybe.
Considering traffic, who knows? But
Okay. Well,
so,
for
is
now,
that Saturday
you're
or
already...
Sunday?
Sunday. You're locked in. You have no choice now. You've committed.
Yeah, whatever. I'll feed the damn ingrate.
She's an ingrate.
She is such an ingrate.
She chose me, and I had to abandon her to record this. I was thinking about canceling because she was sitting in my lap, and I didn't want to make a move. So you should be grateful I recorded with you today, because I was thinking about canceling because I was chosen.
Yeah, okay.
I was chosen.
You would have picked the cat up and brought her to the recording booth if it was really that big a deal.
I kind of rolled her off me, and then I just like got her comfortable on the couch, and I said, "Here you go. I have to go record a stupid podcast and abandon you. I'm sorry."
That's not very nice.
I never said I was nice.
You visited me today at work.
Yeah, it wasn't actually to bother you though. It was like I was actually visiting for work reasons, so I wasn't there to just bother you. I mean, I was there, so I had to go bother you while I was there, but it wasn't my intent.
Yeah. It's funny how my coworkers all like you, and they all like say hi whenever you show up.
Hey, I'm a pretty likable person. What
Well,
can I say?
they don't immediately tell you to get out, so that's already a good sign.
I mean, I don't really bother them, so
Most people that show up at our room get immediately told to get out the second they walk in. So,
well,
yeah.
I guess I'm just lucky.
I read the newest volume of Chainsaw Man yesterday.
You did?
Yep, volume 12 finally came out over here.
How was it?
I'm liking it. They're the new main character is interesting. It's very
Oh, it's
different.
not. So the Chainsaw Man isn't the main character anymore?
Well, he's there, but he's not the focus point anymore. He's now kind of a side character.
Oh, this Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, he's still the main focus of the plot, but he's not the main character anymore.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to spoil too much for people who haven't read it, but yeah, it's pretty fun. It's I'm liking the direction it's going. It's still just as dark and fucked up at times as the show, well, the books have always been. But yeah, been doing
Nice.
that. Other than that, nothing really. The new Dragon Ball anime just got announced,
Yeah.
and the internet is already broken
I
because
don't
of
know
it.
what to think about it. Like,
Well,
I
at
don't.
first, the first thing I thought was, "Oh God, they're doing GT again," because that totally worked the first time. But then I realized everybody's chibi, and
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, you
Well,
got me a
because
little intrigued.
that was my fear too when I first saw it, and then like I saw Vegeta, little baby Vegeta, and I was like, oh
See,
okay, and then
Baby
all the
Vegeta
baby
did.
people appeared.
Baby Vegeta didn't change my opinion. I was like, oh, okay, that's different. They're gonna try. They didn't like Goku Kid. Well, how about Goku and Vegeta Kid? And then it cuts to the shot of like Chi Chi and Bulma, and they're also children. I'm like, okay, he's got me interested now. I'm not sure whether I like it or not, but
I am interested, so I don't know. I'm gonna give it a
the
shot. I mean, the
animation
anime, yes, that's
looks
what I wanted to say.
great.
The animation looks phenomenal. I mean, you can even kind of see not the style of One Piece, but you know how like One Piece went through that animation change when it entered the Wano arc? I can
It,
kind of see some of that in this as well. Like, definitely, I think it's like a Toei style in general has
I see a bit
evolved.
of It looks kind of similar to how like Brawly looked too, a little bit.
Mm, yeah, I'm excited though. I mean, hey, so have we talked about that yet? Well, that
What?
episode, the one oh no, we haven't because we haven't finished watching the movies. But
Yeah.
anyways, I got on a Dragon Ball Super kick after watching something, so I've been rewatching that, and then I saw this and I was like, wow, it's just my time, I guess, right now to be a Dragon Ball fan.
A Dragon Ball fan who has not watched original or Z yet.
I will get to it at some point. I gotta get caught back up with One Piece, and I gotta finish rewatching this, and then it'll be on my list. Oh, and then I gotta finish Blue Lock because I started watching that, and I need to finish that as well.
Hmm.
But I kind of was taking an anime break because I had binged so much all at once, because I was getting just caught up on a bunch of series, but then I took a break because I was like, this has been a lot. I need a little palate cleanser.
Yeah. No, Super's always a good time. Honestly, I've been kind of on a manga binge lately. I've been trying to catch up on all the
A mango binge? You been
Kinda.
eating some mangoes?
Sure, I eat the books
What
and
kind of
everything.
mangoes?
Kaguya-sama.
That's an interesting mango. Bill, guess what I have on my desk? Guess.
A microphone.
No, a trophy because I'm
Oh
a
yeah,
wiener.
because she won a thing. Um,
I don't know where to put it, so it's on my desk here.
that's like most things in my house that I have. I don't know what to do with yet, so they
Do
just
you
go
want
places.
a trophy? I'll give it to you.
I have a whole bucket full of trophies that I haven't put out yet because I don't know what to do with them.
Mine are in my attic. Minus my crystals. My crystals
Mine
are
are,
in my little trophy case.
I think mine are in my attic too. I don't really hang anything like
Attic.
what?
My attic. Yeah, I don't know why I was singing a weird voice.
But yeah, I was really confused
Goodbye.
there for a minute.
This has been a good podcast, everyone. But I think today's finally my day to retire.
Oh,
It's
shut
been
up.
such a good time. I'll
What
see
are
you
you-
all later.
What are you drinking? Because you're clearly under the influence of something right now.
Nope, I'm drinking Big Y spring water. 16.9 fluid ounces, which is
That's
500
great.
milliliters.
No one cares.
The bottle is made with recycled plastic. It's distributed by Big Y Foods in Springfield, Massachusetts. Process.
No one cares.
Stop that off! I'm not done. You can recycle it for 5 cents. It's 100% satisfaction guaranteed, but warning, the cap is small and it could get plugged into noses and be a choking hazard.
How the fuck are you gonna get that up your nose?
Oh, wait. Oh, part in poses. Never mind.
Oh.
It says poses, not noses.
I was gonna say, how do you get an entire cap up?
I mean, they
Never
are
mind.
pretty
I don't want to
flimsy
know.
cap.
I'm drinking. So I got adventurous at the liquor store again.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. So NASCAR sponsorships do work, and so Monster Energy has a alcoholic beverage now, and I saw it and I wanted to try it, and it kind of scares me.
It
a little.
scares you?
It tastes like a Monster, but it's like 6% alcohol, and it's a little scary.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You started it. You
Well,
started
anyways.
it with that fucking cricket.
So believe it or not, it's actually, well, not at the time of recording, but at the time this episode comes out, it's going to be Halloween weekend.
Ooh.
We've made it kind of a GNC tradition that we'll do a Halloween themed episode on the week of Halloween, however it leads up for us every year. And it's funny, we don't do a full month of spooky because we just don't have enough time for that or effort. And
Also, planning is hard.
planning's hard, and it's hard enough to do these episodes every year as is.
Yeah.
So we decided we'd do our once a year Halloween special. And this year, the last 2 years we talked about games. This year we're going to take a bit of a deviation, and we're actually going to be kind of kicking back to the more nostalgic aspect of our podcast, where we're going to be talking about Halloween films that we watched back in the day.
Yes.
Because there was a lot of them. Like, Halloween
Yeah.
was honestly always my favorite time of the year as a kid, because like that's when like you'd get all the Halloween specials on TV,
Yeah.
Halloween movies, and it wasn't fucking freezing because
Yeah.
hashtag fuck winter.
And it was cool too because I think we grew up too during that very heavy Tim Burton time as well, which
Mm,
all of those movies ended up being Halloween movies in the end.
to a degree, yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, you can watch them around other seasons, but like for the most part, people watch them around Halloween.
Yeah, I mean, especially one in particular we'll be talking about, but
Yes.
it was crazy how like those movies, like TV would change so much during the Halloween month, like October, like because we're talking like for kids who watched like Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, and whatever the Disney cartoon channel is these days.
Mm.
And yeah, like you'd always get like you never knew what you were gonna get. Like some years you'd look forward to like the classics that would play, and then like other years you'd be like, oh, the new stuff. Then they never play the old stuff. Those cartoons are gone forever. Yay. You ever like remember how like you'd have like the Halloween episodes for like certain shows, and like they'd only play them during Halloween, and then you just never see them again, and then next year they'd have a different Halloween episode.
And they disappear into the void of
Yeah, you'd have to
nothingness.
find them on sketchy websites, or I think streaming has them now.
Sketchy websites. You gotta
But-
sail the 7 seas, is what you're saying.
Depends on the show, because streaming is confusing how they handle that nowadays.
Yeah.
It's like how the Rugrats Vacation episode isn't on streaming because it uses the Vacation song in it.
Vacation, all I ever wanted.
Yeah,
That one.
that's not on streaming because of that. So
Oh yeah,
I think
we
we-
discovered that.
yeah, because we wanted to watch it and we couldn't find it. So
Womp,
Uh,
womp, womp.
I'm pretty sure you can find it on DVD though if you're that desperate.
Yay!
But yeah, so I figure we'll start off. Alex sent me a list of movies, and I was gonna send her a list back, but all the movies I had listed were on her list. So yeah, so I was like, all right, I guess we're good there.
Uh, let's see. Well, I'm assuming you want to start with the first ones last.
Yeah, we should probably save that one for last
Okay.
because that's a very well-known one.
Alright.
Um,
Then we'll move on to Bill, do you remember Scooby Doo? And now they had
which
animated and live action movies, and the live action ones were great.
which
Works of
live
art.
action ones? They had like 2 sets of those.
They had the ones we grew up with, which was the Scooby Doo one with
The
the actress and act.
Zombie Island or
Yes,
whatever.
with the it was the no, it was like a or something.
No, Zombie Island was an animated film, and then this one was like an island that also had like
It had weird monster creatures.
Scrappy
And
Doo was
then
the villain. That was the best part
yeah,
about that movie.
that was the best part. And that one was like, well, so that one started out with like that they weren't a team anymore and they were all going to investigate separately.
Yeah, that
Not
was
as
actually a pretty good plot, I won't lie, for like a
mm,
live action Scooby Doo that wasn't very good. I always remember because the actors for that were like literally the same guys from fucking Wing Commander of all things.
mm.
They did a good job though, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, I think like that movie like it gets memed on a lot, but
Well,
I don't know.
it's dumb, but it's fun dumb.
It's dumb, but it was fun dumb. Like some of the scenes were just so silly and stuff.
I find it funny that the sequel is truer to like the source material, but it's worse somehow.
Yeah, it is somehow so much worse.
Do you remember the
Well,
scene where
because
Shaggy gets boobs for
yeah.
no reason?
Well, I feel like the thing that made that weirder was like in the end, like in most of the Scooby Doo episodes, like the whole thing about it was like there was a ghost, but it was so and so from blah 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 company all along, and like that kind of took the whole essence of the show where it was blah 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 all along and actually made the monsters real. Which I mean, I guess it worked, but I don't know. I think it came down to like the animation just wasn't the greatest. Like,
Well, no, that was like mid 2000s, like CGI,
yeah,
and
so
that shit.
CGI just it does not hold up well.
I won't lie though, like going back to those movies, like the first one, anyways, I still think actually was pretty well aged, other than some kind of sketchy scenes that like haven't aged well. Particularly the first one, the scene where they all switch bodies like
Yeah,
randomly, and Fred gets stuck in uh, Daphne's body, and he makes the comment saying, "I can look at myself naked," and
like yeah.
it's like that's not okay nowadays.
No.
Like, nope.
Uh,
I remember that one though vividly. The
I
Scrappy
always
Doo as the
those
villain was the
movies
best.
those movies always make me laugh too for the fact that they were married. Like the couple, well, they got married after the two actors who played Freddie and not Velma and Daphne. They got married after, which always just makes me laugh.
I mean, that's kind of like Ryan Reynolds and
Yeah, Blake Lively.
Blake Lively because they were both in fucking Green Lantern of all movies. I guess something good had to come out of that.
Something. But that was a good one. And then of course they had the animated ones. And I know this one isn't a movie, but I know a classic Scooby Doo episode that I always watch around Halloween is the one with the Hex Girls with their song, the Hex Girl song, because it's a banger and it still is a banger to this day.
Yeah, I always remember the Zombie Island movie too because that was
Mm.
a pretty big one at the time.
Hmm.
So moving on to another one. This one, so I'm going off the list picking randomly, and this one is great just because it's so nostalgic. But do you remember Wallace and Gromit, Alex?
Yes, Bill. Yes, I do.
Do you remember the shorts, like the TV shorts that would play all the time?
Oh yeah, and like they'd be like before movies and stuff too. They'd
Yeah,
have some of those as well.
those were surprisingly like. I love like claymation, like Aardman Animation, like always did really cool stuff. I mean, they did the freaking music video for Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer, like of all
I
things.
didn't
Like,
know that.
yeah, like the dancing
The dancing chickens,
the
yeah.
dancing rotisserie chickens. That was Aardman Animation.
I didn't know that. The more you
Um,
know, the
yeah,
more you
Chicken Run
know.
was a classic from the time. Like,
Oh, chicken. I thought I saw something about like a new Chicken Run.
yeah, they made a sequel. I don't know if it
They
ever
did.
came out or not. They didn't get back what's his face? Mel Gibson. They didn't get Mel Gibson back to play the main character, but yeah, I guess they made a sequel to that. I don't know if it ever came out or not though.
I think it's coming out 2023. It came
Oh.
out.
Oh.
Oh
Well,
no, not yet. The 14th. It says October 14th, 2023.
oh.
So it hasn't come out yet.
You got 2 days.
See, I didn't think it came out because I was pretty certain I saw trailers of it recently.
I haven't been following. God, Chicken Run is so fucking old.
Bill, you're not a dedicated Chicken Run fan? A
A dedicated.
a
Um,
dedicated Chicken Run
I
stand,
remember.
Bill?
I
What
remember
the
the place.
fuck is wrong?
I remember the PlayStation game because it was fucking Metal Gear Solid with chickens. But I actually got to hunt a copy of that down at some point. It's pretty fun. But anyways, going back to Wallace and Gromit, do you remember when they did? So the movie we're talking about is Curse of the Were Rabbit, and I remember this came out of nowhere because like Wallace and Gromit was like forgotten by that point.
Chicken Run came out a while before that too. It was just
Yeah, that was like their first really big movie that they ever did.
and I don't remember what was in between that.
Flushed away.
Ew, I forgot about that movie.
Yeah.
I guess that describes how good the movie was.
Or was it? I don't remember. Anyways, so yeah, Wallace and Gromit: Curse of the Were Rabbit. It was like the first like feature length film based off of the characters, and I still like this movie. Like legitimately, I think it's like really solid. Like the animation's crazy. Like claymation in itself just is really cool to look at. Like how they do it, and the the plot is so fucking ridiculous. Like he gets like somehow like infused with like a rabbit in
A
like
bunny?
a bunny.
Well, it was something he was trying to test, like change like a bunny's intelligence to
They were
make
trying.
them.
So there was a big like vegetable like celebration happening, and all the rabbits kept eating the fields, and they were like, I guess pest like capturers for like their job of the week in this movie. And I remember at one point he captures them all, and he has this bright idea of like brainwashing them into like only wanting to eat anything but vegetables, which in hindsight would probably fuck up the ecosystem really bad, but that's besides the point. And during the thing, like he accidentally changes the vacuum from like suck to blow, and it like causes him to get like his brain scrambled with this rabbit, so he turns into a fucking were-rabbit in the middle of the night.
Don't question it, people.
The scene where he
Just accept it.
transforms into the were-rabbit is still fucking disturbing. I don't care what anyone says.
Oh yeah, I mean that's why it's a Halloween movie, Bill. It was disturbing.
It's at a PS2 game too. I remember at one point that I own. I haven't played it, but I heard it's actually pretty good. Yeah, that was like the last Wallace and Gromit thing I think they did, because I don't think the movie did particularly well.
I don't think it did either, which is a darn shame because I enjoyed the shit out of that movie when I was a kid.
Yeah,
I loved it.
yeah, that one was pretty fun. What's another movie, Alex, from Halloween that you remember?
Sorry. I was holding in a yawn and I couldn't hold it in anymore. Do you remember the Monster House movie, which was genuinely so scary as a kid?
That movie was interesting.
That movie
I have
was...
not thought about Monster House in
I
fucking
hadn't
forever.
either, and like then we did this. This was the idea, and then that came into my head, and like I remember being that movie was genuinely frightening. Just the imagery and stuff that they did in that movie, like it was genuinely a very scary movie.
Yeah,
as a kid.
the fucking house itself is fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
There is one great joke in that film though that I still always remember.
What?
So when they recruit so they have there's the two main characters, the guy who moved just recently moved there, and then the goofy side like comic relief character. There's also the girl who's like initially the skeptic that shows up, and then when she sees the house almost fucking eats her, she basically joins them in their like crusade against the house. And at one point, they're in their secret laboratory where they're like conducting their investigation, and they're going through all their stuff that they found. And at one point, it showcases a random like closed like soda bottle, and he just goes, "Don't drink that," and I'm just like, wonderful. We all know what that means.
Yeah.
Yeah, the plot of that movie is so fucking weird. Like, it's like this living house that terrorizes the neighborhood of anyone who goes near it.
I think I remember seeing that it was not the stop, but the basis of like the story with like the woman in the house was based off a true story, or like somewhat of a true story.
Because, like, for people who don't know, I mean, I guess we should have dropped a spoiler warning, but I mean, most of these movies are ancient. So.
Yeah, these are all pretty old.
Well, basically, what happens is like it's revealed later in the film because initially there's like a kind of creepy old man that lives in the house, and he has like a heart attack during like something that happens. Like, I think the kids try to like get like a basketball back or something, and he ends up having a heart attack. And he's taken from the house, and like the house basically like needs him there to like not like go insane.
Yeah.
Because the house is fully living. Like, it's a fucking living creature. It's disturbing how that happened, but I don't know. But basically it's revealed like later on that like the guy like met like a woman who was like a circus performer, like, well, not really performer, more of like a circus slave.
Yeah.
And they ended up getting married, and then during the construction of the house, a bunch of shithead kids were basically making fun of her, and she ended up falling into the unfinished basement and getting coated in cement. And they built the house over her, and she became the house.
Which, like, that scene alone was very fucked up as a kid to watch. Like,
yeah, I remember watching that in the theater with like mom and you, and
very
like
dark. Like, I remember that movie like freaked me out for a while, and I like had trouble sleeping for a while after seeing that movie.
that was I'd already seen Akira by this point, so like it didn't disturb me that much, but it was more kind of
I
like
had not.
it was more like I saw that and I was like, huh. I'm like, that's I remember looking over at mom, and mom just had this confused face on, like she didn't know what to say. I mean, you were white as a
I
ghost.
think I was
so.
probably looking away at that point.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember that. Like, it's funny how anime can like poison the brain of a child, like to the point where like imagery like that doesn't affect you anymore. Yeah, that the climax of that movie too, where the house fucking gets up on its fucking, the trees become the arms and it walks away, is still fucking disturbing even to this day.
Yes.
And then, but that movie has the best.
The movie in general is disturbing. It was,
but it has the
like creepy movie.
It has the best payoff though ever. So one of the whole reasons they're trying to like get inside the house is the goofy like comic relief kid. He loses his basketball in the house, and they're trying to get it back. And after the house gets blown up at the end, the old man of course has his change of heart, and he's like giving out for Halloween. He's giving out toys to all the kids. Basically, he's giving their stuff back.
Yeah.
And the kid, he gets his basketball back, and literally the closing shot is he goes to shoot a hoop, and it gets stuck on the rim, and it just ends there. And it's like, that was kind of funny.
That was a nice a funny joke.
Well, because we've all been there, where like it's like you finally get the frisbee off the roof, and you immediately throw it back on the roof, like, and the person who got it for you just looks at you like with the biggest look of disappointment.
Just like, God damn it!
It's like, fucking kids. Like, god damn it. Yeah, I remember Monster House. That was ironically, I think that movie actually probably holds up better now than it did then, just because it was a pretty unique.
Animation wise, like, it's probably not as. I was looking at some photos, and it's not as it doesn't look as wonderful as it probably did at the time. But I think in terms of like story and overall scariness, like, I think it holds up.
Who made Monster House? Because I don't think it
Ooh,
definitely.
Let the dogs out. Who?
Who made this film? It was made by
Let the dogs.
Columbia. Oh, okay. So it's Sony. Not one of the. It wasn't like Illumination. Oh, it was the same studio that did Polar Express. Okay.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah, I get it now.
With the characters, not the story, but the character designs, that makes sense.
Yeah. Looking at our list now, talking about some of these films.
No. I don't want to.
We have Hocus Pocus on the list, and I laugh because it's Halloween, so like my Amazon Fire TV feed just has that film perpetually on there.
Hocus Pocus, I feel like, is one of the most like iconic like Halloween movie. Like that's okay for like kids to watch. And I remember it was like Halloween time. That thing played on Disney Channel like 100,000 times. Oh my god, I remember watching that so many times.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I think that movie, like back when we were in like the after school, like that after school like YMCA program, I think they had that on their fucking little TV thing that they had like constantly. Because I remember that one constantly being put on.
Yeah.
There was kind of funny the actors who were in this, like Bette Midler, like Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yeah,
like,
it's kind of insane. The cast of that movie it's kind of insane. And didn't they do like a second Hocus Pocus where they came back?
They did Hocus Pocus 2. That was
in
2022.
No, yeah, it was like last year, and I think they brought back.
Yeah,
I think
they
Sarah
got
Jessica Parker was in it.
They got Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got the main three back. Anyways, that's actually really fascinating to me.
I mean, I must show how much they like truly enjoyed doing the movie. You know.
Yeah, I remember enjoying this film. I haven't watched it though. Probably in.
No, I haven't watched it since it was on Disney Channel, and I was actively watching Disney Channel during Halloween times.
Yeah, I mean, I have Disney Plus, so theoretically, it's there. Oh, they're making a third one.
Oh, they are?
All right, now they're just milking. Now they're milking it.
I guess the second one went well, and they were like, money.
I always remember this. I always remember this movie because it had kind of like a false ending, and then like they would later like actually conclude the plot like shortly after. Back when like movies always kind of did those false endings, where you kind of think the happy ending's gonna happen, and it's like nope, there's still more. That one was fun. What's another movie you remember from this time?
The Haunted Mansion.
The Haunted Mansion. Honestly,
wasn't that with Will Smith? Wasn't Will Smith in the Haunted Mansion?
Oh, the ironic timing on that.
I don't know if he was. Let me check. Oh, I think they're also making a new series.
Of course they are, because
Who
Disney's
was in it? Oh no, it wasn't Will Smith.
Oh.
It was Eddie Murphy. Never mind.
Nope, those are not the same.
All right. Not the same person.
Those are not the same people.
I think I thought Will Smith because he has been in the news recently, and in my mind I was like, oh yeah, Will Smith. And I think I might have also been thinking of that movie. What's that one where it's Will Smith and his dog, and they're just running?
Oh, around. I Am Legend.
Yeah. Why that was in my head. It's Eddie Murphy.
I'm trying to picture this movie with Will Smith now, and it's a completely different movie. Oh man.
Sorry.
So this is one of those. This is a movie that's based off of a theme park ride, by the way.
Yeah, and they're creating a new series as well. I don't know if it's going to be a movie or if it's.
There's a film. Another film.
Oh, it is a movie. Okay, yep. So it is a new movie.
Starring Rosario Dawson.
Cool.
I don't know who that is. But
I don't know who that is.
I know the name. I just don't know who. Yeah, that's cool. What was this movie even about? Because I have no memories.
I honestly think it was just to make more money for the theme park ride.
So just like the Country Bears, and they got rid of that ride anyways.
I think they got rid of that one. I think. I think it was. I think the premise was like this family moved into the mansion and they were just trying to live their lives, even though it was very much haunted. And then I think his wife got possessed, and he had to stop her from marrying one of the ghosts. I'm pretty certain that's the plot.
Seems legit.
I could be wrong, but it was not with Will Smith. It was with Eddie Murphy.
I want to watch the lost version of that film with Will Smith that
He
exists in
was their
Alex's
first
brain.
round casting, and then I don't know why. I honestly think I was just oh god, I keep banging into things. I honestly think it was because like Will Smith has been in the news, and I think that was
He
just
has.
in my head, and like, and then I was like, oh yeah, it was Will Smith, right? Nope, Eddie Murphy.
That's off topic, but that story keeps getting fucking weirder and weirder as the years go by.
I've just like I saw like some of it and I was like, this is too much. Goodbye. Too much to deal with.
So much memes. So many memes.
Bill, do you remember Casper?
I do.
Friendly ghost?
I remember the really weird
Casper, the bitch ass ghost, he needs to grow up.
So I remember the first one because it was like the live action with like the CGI like stop motion Casper that would appear, and it at the time looked okay, but nowadays I don't even know what it probably looks like anymore.
Yeah, I think they did a couple of ones with it was like live action mixed with Casper. And then I think they did do an animated one in the future, but
Yeah, they've done
Casper
that.
was creepy looking.
I always remember Casper because it was like it would play like before one of the Power Rangers movies, like as a trailer.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant it would just play before you had to watch Casper before you could watch Power Rangers.
No. There was like you remember how certain like VHS tapes like they had the
Yeah.
trailers, and you would always have like that one that like certain like movies like you'd have like trailers just like ingrained into your brain because you'd see them all the time.
I'm looking at all these Casper photos, and why is he creeping over everyone's shoulder while they're sleeping?
Because he's a
It's
ghost.
like multiple images of him just like, hey, what's up? Are you trying to sleep? Nothing on. And it's like, Casper, stop being a fucking freak. Stop
I remember.
it, Casper.
I remember.
He looks like the Pillsbury Doughboy, but like without his hat.
He's like he's the bastard love child of the Pillsbury Doughboy and the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
I could not tell you a single plot from these movies. I don't remember, but I remembered Casper vividly. But I don't remember a single plot from these movies. I couldn't tell you what they were about. Besides, there's a little ghost named Casper that
I just remember they were
over people's shoulders while they're sleeping.
I remember they were very comedic in tone.
Yeah. Well, they were definitely a cutesy Halloween-ish movie. That
is true. And speaking of, we mentioned the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, Ghostbusters. That's another. Your mic just broke trying to do that. Oh yeah, it didn't even rip. It was just like
That's
no.
Fine. No one needed to hear that anyways. It probably was not good on the ears.
So, Ghostbusters is by far a series that only needed one entry.
Yeah.
But it
got a second.
I mean, the sequel that was fine, whatever. We didn't need like 2 reboots because like everyone cried about the first reboot, and then the second reboot they made a second one out of an apology. Yeah. Do you remember?
But
do you remember
a great theme song?
Yeah. You know the first time I saw Ghostbusters?
When?
On my PSP. Because I had it as a I had a PSP. I still have it. It's up in my room somewhere, my game room. But yeah, I remember watching it late at night on the PSP, and the ghosts. I remember like
on the PSP.
2004. I was 9. I want to say. Yeah, I remember seeing that on my PSP, and it scared me. I won't lie.
It scared you?
Yeah, the first ghost appearance, and then I like a year later I watched it at 10. And I was like, I saw Akira, and then I watched that. I'm like, I was scared of that, and I was like, all right. Ghostbusters
Sometimes things are a lot more scarier, in like as a kid, and then you grow up and you're like, that wasn't that scary.
Well, it's funny how like just a year can change your like mental capacity on certain things. Like going from like 9 to 10, it's like suddenly it's not scary anymore, or that or being traumatized by an anime when watching an anime that you shouldn't have watched at a certain age.
Or a house that comes to life.
Yes, exactly. Um,
Comes alive. That's not a word. That's
Ghost
not a.
Ghostbusters is a fun watch though. The CGI, well not CGI, the puppetry and like effects for the ghost are kind of goofy nowadays. The ending's still fun though. I love taking out the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, taking over across the city. Great cast of actors, like just a funny all around time. It's hard to really like explain it without going in depth on a full review, but
That's another time.
yeah, if we ever do a ghost, if we ever talk about the Ghostbusters game or something. So what's another film, Alex?
Sorry. I sent you something cursed. I hope I sent it to you. Do you remember Halloween Town?
Maybe.
It was a fun, uplifting Disney series. I don't know if it was uplifting about this girl who would go to this town. Maybe she was a witch, and it was like a Halloween town. Everything was Halloween. I think there was like a guy with a pumpkin head, and I just remember. I again, I don't remember the plot of this movie, but I just remember always seeing it on Disney around Halloween time. And I think they had multiple. I think it was they had Halloween Town 1, 2, and a
Well,
3.
I believe there was multiple of these. I
Uh
remember Disney would play them on like repeat.
oh, it was like their grandma lived in Halloween Town because she was a witch. And then they
Oh, there was four of them, Alex, and they have the greatest names ever. We have Halloween Town, Halloween Town 2, Calabar's Revenge, Halloween Town High, because there's always a high school version,
oh yeah.
and Return to Halloween Town,
Or
despite being the fourth movie.
yes. What a time. I couldn't tell you the plot of these movies once again.
Just
But I
you look
remember them vividly.
just out of I'll probably include it in the thumbnail, but just look at the cover art for Halloween High and you just immediately go that you can immediately pinpoint what year that came out because it's like, oh boy. Like yeah, this was definitely one of those things that you would have on and I would just kind of do something else because I wasn't interested.
Yep.
It was
Understandable.
during my Disney, the phase where I was losing interest in Disney. And also, why did you send me like this creepy Scarlett Johansson looking thing?
Because I had to see it and you had to see it too. Why is her nose like that?
Because it's a doll.
Why did they make her nose like that?
The
Why
people
did they give her a
don't
Squidward
understand.
nose?
I guess as good as mine.
I had to see it, so I wanted you to see it too.
Going into some more of them, I guess we're gonna save the Tim Burton films for last.
Don't spoil. Well, which ones have we already talked about? I think we've talked about all of them.
You didn't bring up Hotel Transylvania. This is a series
Oh,
you've seen.
Hotel Transylvania. I gotta say, there's like 4 of them. I've seen the first 3, and I will say they're pretty good time. I do enjoy those movies, even though Adam Sandler, it's Dracula, and it's so fucking stupid, but it's great.
I mean,
they're really fun movies.
Is it like stupid as in like 8 Crazy Nights stupid or stupid as in Jack and Jill stupid?
I mean, like, I don't know. I've never seen either of those movies.
Oh, you've
so
never seen 8 Crazy Nights?
No, is that like the?
That's the It Christmas animated one.
Oh god, wasn't it not even Christmas? It was like a Hanukkah movie or something.
Whatever, it's holiday themed. Okay, I'll have to show you that around the holidays. Jack and Jill's a piece of shit though. Don't bother with that one. That's the one where he plays both himself and his sister.
Yeah,
bad.
I haven't seen that one. No, I mean like these are like they're genuine. They're good films. Like they're definitely for kids. I mean they're a kids animated movie, but I had fun watching all of them. They're all pretty fun. It's like centered around this hotel for like monsters and ghouls, and it's run by Dracula. And one day a human guy shows up, and Dracula's daughter just like wants to get to know him, and they end up falling in love. And then it just kind of from there it just follows them like getting married, I think, and then like having a kid, and then so on, and then his great grandfather it's a goofy series, but like it's pretty good. I enjoyed them all. I think I watched them all on flights. I'm pretty certain. I
I think you and Mom watched a bunch of them together at one point.
think we did. I'm pretty certain we enjoyed them. They were silly, but they were fun. And Adam Sandler.
I
I'm
think
pretty
that was
certain it's
during my
Adam
third.
Sandler.
I think that was during my third shift phase where like I was sleeping on the couch and you were just watching something because I have vivid.
Yeah, we were just watching something while you're sleeping on the couch.
I have like vague memories of like
Is
that.
it Adam Sandler? Maybe it's not Adam Sandler.
So you just don't remember.
No, it is. It is.
Oh,
He is
okay.
Dracula. He is Dracula. And
Um,
actually, these have a pretty big cast. I mean, Adam Sandler, Andy
They're-
Samberg,
It's
Selena Gomez, David Spade, Kevin James, like Steve Buscemi. They had a pretty big cast.
Steve Buscemi. Okay.
Yeah.
Is this Illumination or DreamWorks? I can never tell.
I think this is.
Or is it Sony?
Sony. It's
Oh.
Sony. Sony.
Oh,
This is like Sony's series because the first one came out in 2012. Then they did a second. So the first one, and then the second one, which was 2015. Then the third one, 2018, and then the recent one, which I haven't seen, 2022.
Oh, it's the same company that did this across the Spider-Man Spider-Verse movies.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
They're pretty fun. Like, I mean, they're silly movies. You can't expect like you're gonna see something and it's gonna dramatically change your life. They're just a fun, silly little series that it's good around Halloween.
But their first film was Open Season. Oh
Hey,
no.
Bill, everyone has room to improve. I did not know that going in, and I enjoyed the movie. So
Ashton Kutcher was in Open Season. I just remembered that.
you know, rightfully so, because he
There
fucking
was
sucks
four-
now.
There was 4 open seasons. Why was there 4? They
I
didn't-
feel like all the other ones were direct. Like
They
to
probably were.
DVC.
But one wasn't necessary. Anyways, so before we move on to the final films that I wanted to talk about in this,
Dun, dun, dun,
another
dun,
thing that we
dun,
probably
dun.
should bring up because it was pretty iconic and it's one of probably the most well-known Halloween-themed television things is Simpsons Treehouse of Horror.
Oh yeah. Well, I didn't think we were gonna bring that up because I thought we were doing movies, Bill.
Well, I figured we would. It was worth covering because we. Let's face it. It's been 40. It's been 40 minutes, Alex. Yeah, but the Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors are. So it's a yearly thing that they've been doing since season 2 of the show,
Yes.
and it's an excuse for them to do like wacky non-canon shit where they can just make like weird things happen to the Simpsons family, and in the later ones brutalize them mercilessly.
And just like disturb you in a very
Yeah,
like,
there's a certain one later on that's very fucked up.
ugh. It was just that one was just so just
Out of left
disturbing
field.
and uncomfortable that it just left you like I need to leave. Like I need to
For those-
stop watching this.
For those who don't know, there's literally one later on where Homer eats himself,
Yeah.
like to death. Ugh, like it's such a weird.
It's very disturbing.
Yeah, especially because like, I mean, there was also there was the Sideshow Bob one where he just murders Bart multiple times throughout it and just keeps bringing him back to life. Like they've gotten really fucking dark with these things recently.
Yeah.
Because we actually marathoned all of them like a while back, and they start out
We
so
did
good.
around Halloween last year. I
Yeah,
think
we
that
did.
was
Well, not last year. It was we were still in the apartment at the time, so it was like I don't know when. Actually, now that I think about it,
so I don't know.
it wasn't
Gosh.
Halloween. We were in
Wasn't
the apartment.
Halloween.
Either way, we
Apartment.
watched all of the Treehouse of Horrors, and they started out so good, and then by the end, they just got progressively more and more like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
The CGI one, though, I still remember, like where Homer goes 3D for the first time. That one's just a classic.
That one is a classic.
I love the ending of it too, where Homer's like in the real world. He's like, what strange place is this? And he's like, ooh, erotic cakes, and then just goes off into a store, and that's the ending.
And he's like, whatever. This is my life now.
Yeah, they got really creative too, like parodying stuff later on. Like they did like a whole War of the Worlds parody, like Citizen
Mm.
Kane parody at one point. whole bunch of wacky shit.
Yeah. They're definitely worth sorry. They're definitely worth a watch, especially the older ones. I mean, hey, the newer ones, watch them if you want to be disturbed, but for
I
the
love
most part,
the first Treehouse of Horror was like the house that it was like a house that the Simpsons moved into, and the house was alive, like Monster House, and basically it was terrorizing them to leave, and basically the Simpsons were like, no, we're not going to leave, we'll give you a choice. It's either you're basically going to have to stay with us, you're basically going to have to accept us living here, we're all going to have to get along. And the house is like, can you give me 5 minutes? And the house just destroys itself. And
yep.
they're like, wow, it would rather kill itself than spend an eternity with us. And it was like, that's dark. This was early Simpsons.
That was that was such a good payoff though as a joke, like that the house was just like, God, I'd rather kill myself than deal with these freaking Simpsons. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
There
it
was also
was.
the one where Willie gets like axed in the back like 3 times, and it just becomes a running joke throughout the thing.
Mm.
Because it was the Homer like going through time in the toaster, and I love the payoff to that one because like he like constantly keeps getting these more fucked realities because he keeps tampering with the past. And then he gets like literally this perfect reality, like that's like Bart and Lisa are like perfectly behaved, like everything is like perfect, exactly how he would want it. And then he's like, "Can someone give me a donut?" And they're like, "What's a donut?" And he just freaks out and immediately runs away. And then it cuts to a shot of it raining, and it's literally raining donuts. And Marge just goes, "Ah, it's raining again."
Raining again.
It's like the cruelest like fate that he could have had. And then
Oh,
at the end, he completely loses his shit, just starts killing everything in the fast, and then he ends up in this universe that's kind of okay, except everyone has lizard tongues.
yep, and he's just like, whatever.
He's like, close enough. And then it goes to that was the one where the teachers were eating the children. That was always wonderful.
Yeah, that one was yeah, wasn't it because like they ran out of food or something?
Yeah,
Like,
they were like shredding like gym mats to make meat and like eating newspaper and shit.
and then they were just like, "Oh, you look so scrumptious."
Yeah, they
And
were
it
having
was just
sloppy Jimbos and like
sloppy Jim. Ugh.
Uterbrat and all sorts of stuff. Millhouse dies pretty gruesomely. It was great. Oh man, there's some very good ones. The Simpsons, like those were a joy. Like to go back and like watch, especially like because they were just. It was fun to see them actually be creative for once.
Mm, they definitely were a fun time.
Hmm. I guess
But
to
don't
wrap.
watch the newer ones unless you want to be mentally disturbed. Like we,
Hey, they excuse me. They actually warned
you're
the
not
cat.
excused.
Oh well. They actually
Get out of
warned.
there.
They put a warning up before the that the one where Homer eats himself, just because it was that disturbing.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah,
that's
remember
good because
they show
like,
the clip of like of Lisa being like, "Oh yeah, by the way, this one's more disturbing than usual, so just watch with caution."
oh yeah. I wonder if they did that originally or
Well, no, I feel like they did because they used to do that with like the original the first like 4 episodes had like Marge doing like the little like warning at the beginning. And then they stopped doing it after a while because they realized no one cared. But I guess they brought it back for that one.
yeah. Well,
But anyways, so moving on now to
understandable because it was disturbing as all hell.
yeah, moving on to the final few films we wanted to cover for this. We kind of alluded to it earlier. Alex mentioned Tim Burton. Because
Yes.
Tim Burton made a lot of
A lot of
Halloween.
classic, yeah, a lot of movies that end up being considered Halloween movies too.
We're gonna save the big one for last because people can probably guess what it is. But yeah. So he made 3 movies all in a very similar style. I
Well,
remember.
in that creepy esque story that could be put in the Halloween category style.
Yeah, and they used that very distinct, like almost like it's not really claymation. It's like I don't know how to describe
Claymation.
it.
They are done claymation. Like they do
Are they?
everything the scene. Yeah, I'm pretty certain it's all claymation.
Uh,
Or at least I know 2 of them are. I don't know about Coraline. Um
I
But
guess we'll
I'm
start with.
pretty certain I get Corpse Bride though I know was because I remember I had the DVD and I watched the behind the scenes and it showed them making the puppets and the
Okay,
dolls.
it's definitely like stop motion animated, like
Mm.
um, and they're a cool effect. It's an effect that has aged very well, like even
Oh
today.
yeah,
Um, so I have very fond memories with one of these films. The other two I remember, but not as fondly.
yeah.
Um,
I have personally have fond memories with all of them. I think all
well,
of them have like really great stories. Um.
if you were a Hot Topic kid during the early 2000s, you
Oh
very
yeah,
much will remember all of these movies.
yeah.
Um,
I guess to start with Coraline, it's basically centered around this girl, Coraline, and she ends up moving to it. Her family ends up moving to a new home, and she's kind of struggling with finding that new life balance of like, okay, my parents are busy. Um, I feel isolated. There's no one around me. I need to go and like I'm gonna have fun. And she goes exploring, and then she ends up finding this secret door in her house, which transports her to like an alternate world. Um, where she ends up like finding like the other mother. Like so, there's basically these other version characters in the other world. And it seems like it's such a wonderful, fun place, but in the end, if she wants to stay in the world, she has to like join the family, which would mean sewing buttons on her eyes, kind of making her part of the family.
Ironically,
Um,
The Simpsons parodied this in one of the Trios of Horrors.
no,
Actually,
I think they
the one
did.
right before the one where he eats himself too.
Ugh.
That's how I remember that actually vividly.
But it's a I really enjoyed the story and the visuals are so it's very good because like as she's going back and forward in between the world is getting more eerie and more creepy. It starts out being this wonderful fun place and it soon turns into her nightmare. Especially when she finally like has that last face off with the other mother. Cuz she becomes like a walking nightmare.
Yeah.
But it's honestly, it's like I really enjoyed the story, especially because I mean, I think a lot of kids could relate to it. You know, you start in a new town, you're kind of uncomfortable, you're trying to figure out your balance of your new life, and um, it's not easy. Uh, and it's done well in a creepy, slightly scary way.
Yeah, Tim Burton didn't even make Coraline. I just
Oh, we
realized that.
didn't?
No,
I thought he did.
I legit just looked at this and I realized, no, it was done by Henry Selick.
Hmm. It's very much the same style. I thought it was a Tim Burton film. Huh.
Oh, wait a minute here.
Wait a minute.
Okay, I'm just making this realization. So Henry Selick actually directed uh another one of the films that we're going to be talking about as well, but Tim Burton wrote the story of. Tim Burton
Okay.
had nothing to do with Coraline though,
Oh, okay.
as far as I can tell.
Interesting.
Well,
Well,
we don't do
we're not good.
research.
Nah, I mean, I always thought it was a Tim Burton film. In all honesty, I just thought it was because it kind of fits with all those other movies, but I guess it's not.
Uh,
Interesting.
so the other one we're talking about, Corpse Bride, he did direct, co-directed with
Oh, okay.
Mike Johnson.
So I guess maybe that's kind of why I thought it was.
Well,
But
and
I
he's
didn't
involved.
realize Johnny Depp was the voice actor in this.
Oh, and Corpse
In
Bride,
Corpse Bride, I didn't know that.
Alex. This is Tim Burton. Johnny Depp's in everything he does.
Oh, he is. I didn't
Have
know
you
this.
look at So literally, if you look at the two starring roles in this film, it is literally the two actors that are in every fucking Tim Burton film.
Oh, that's funny.
It's Johnny Depp and
Oh,
Helena Bonham Carter, who
that
was his
makes sense.
who was
Actually.
his wife at the time.
Ah.
Yeah, Johnny. There was a point in Tim Burton's like directing career where legitimately every fucking thing he did had Johnny Depp in it, like the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory remake, for example.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So it's actually kind of funny looking at that now and seeing the two actors and being like, ah, yes, Tim Burton. Uh,
Um.
Corpse Bride is a wacky film though, just for the concept alone.
Oh yeah, I mean, like it is, but I freaking loved this movie. I mean, it was very creepy, and but it had also some really fun notes. But I mean, like the whole plot, like I mean, the deep down story of like why there's a corpse bride, like of how she was like murdered, um, murdered and her like dowry was taken, and how she just wants to be a bride. Like, oh, yeah, I loved this story. I loved this one. It was so good.
The scene in the trailer, though, I always remember is how it's like he literally runs away from his wedding and then ditches the ring on a random corpse he finds,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like,
Well, it
bro.
looked like a stick. Well, it looked like a stick. I think it was more he just threw it. But I mean, and then when she just suddenly appears behind him, it definitely has those elements of like scariness in it, but also like it's a very much a it's also kind of fun because I know there's that part where he ends up going like in the underground, and like all the other corpses around them are celebrating like that Emily's getting married, and then like they're just like there's like this band and this music is playing, and it's just like it's almost, and it's what made it interesting is that the underworld is so colorful and so bright, and the above world he lives in is so gray and so gloomy. It's so the contrast between the two different worlds is just so like, oh, I just loved it.
Hmm. No, I get that. Also, the soundtrack was done by Danny Elfman, another another common theme with Tim Burton films.
And I mean, the soundtrack is amazing in this film.
Oh,
Like, it's
Danny
such a good soundtrack.
Danny Elfman does masterful work. Like his
Yes.
scores from the two Batman films that Tim Burton directed are fucking phenomenal. Like I still
Mm.
love everything the guy does is great.
Yeah,
Um,
he actually played one of the characters too. He was one of the he was I think one the music skeleton musician man. Yeah, he
hell
was. Bone Jangles.
Jesus.
He was, but yeah, no, he actually like, and he sang a song in the movie too. Um, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, this one's also a joy, like a good Halloween film. I will
I love
say
that one.
though, it's probably gonna forever be overshadowed by its more well-known
I'm sorry.
predecessor in
I mean, I will say
quotes.
its predecessor is very good, but I enjoy Corpse Bride so much more.
I'm sure you do.
I think it's very underrated.
It's probably a better film. The one we're talking about is obviously Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yes.
So here's where you get confusing get confused, Alex. Um, Nightmare Before Christmas was directed by Henry Selick as well. Tim Burton
Ah,
produced and wrote the story.
that's where I was getting confused.
So what's funny is Henry Selick also directed. Obviously, he directed Coraline, but he also directed James and the Giant Peach,
Hmm.
which Tim Burton I think produced as well. So he has this kind of style known, very notable. Um, yeah, this film though, like you could not escape this fucking film back in the day.
No, it was always on. Was it on Disney or was it on Nickelodeon? I can't remember who would play it.
Disney because Buena Vista did the
Ah,
production. Um, yeah, and it's technically a Disney property because it was in fucking Kingdom Hearts at one point.
it
Believe it or not.
was.
Yep.
Dang, I didn't
Also,
know
like
that.
later versions of this film are known as Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas, which is probably where the confusion comes from.
Yes.
I also love this film because it is literally both a Halloween and a Christmas movie.
No, yeah, you can watch it at both times of the year.
I think we did in school a lot. Like we'd
I
watch it in
think we did.
Halloween and then watch it again during Christmas because why not? Um, yeah, and then of course the Hot Topic generation, like you could not fucking
Oh my
escape
god,
this
yeah.
film.
And I think that's partially why I'm a bigger fan of like the Corpse Bride and Coraline, those films over that one, because I think I just like it was every Nightmare Before Christmas was everywhere, and I was like, ugh, I don't care.
Yeah, you'd see it everywhere. And I mean, I still greatly appreciate the film. Like you watch it now and it's still very it's held up very well in my opinion.
Mm.
Oh, Danny Elfman did Jack Skellington's singing voice. I just realized that.
Oh, that's funny.
That's fun.
That's not surprising.
Well, I mean, he did this soundtrack as well.
Yes.
The songs in this one are also very well done and very memorable. For that. I still remember the fucking ending too, where like God, what was the villain's name?
Boogie Boogie.
Yeah, the boogeyman. When he gets like his outer pillowcase ripped open and he's full of
just,
bugs.
Like, full of bugs. Ugh.
That scene disturbed me as a child. Then I grew up and I was like, oh, it's just bugs.
It still disturbs me to this day.
It is a little creepy, especially when the entire thing gets ripped off and he just like this like mass of bugs walking around that just slowly disintegrates, and it's like, whoa, that looked really cool. It still holds up animation wise too, honestly.
Oh yeah, I think all of those films we just talked about, definitely the animation holds up quite a bit.
I love the concept of like the King of Halloween sees Christmas
wants to celebrate Christmas
and wants to do it himself, but rather than just doing his own Christmas, he fucking kidnaps Santa and's like, I'm gonna do it this year. But he's so awful at it that like it literally all goes to shit, and Santa's gotta pick up the pieces and fix everything. Meanwhile, Jack's gotta go back to Halloween World and fix that because that's become a mess because of everything. It's a fun little film. It's worth a watch every now and then.
No, it is.
Honestly,
I would say watch Corpse Bride before that because it's better.
I'm sure you're gonna trigger somebody who's gonna be like,
I'm sorry. I think it's better. It's a better, more fun film. Anyways.
Yeah. Other than that, though, I didn't have any other.
Need another Christmas movie.
Yeah, we really don't. Well, see,
That's what the Hallmark Channel's for.
Well, hey, so there's some decent films on there, but I've been brainwashed by our mother.
Did you just say there's decent films on the Hallmark movie channel? What? No, you're never allowed to judge film ever again. You're banned. You are banned. Those are garbage films with predictable plots. You know how the movie's gonna go in the first 5 seconds.
Yes.
No.
But you watch them and you get into them, and then you have to see how it ends.
No, I watch them and I go, "This is how it's gonna happen." And our mom goes, "No, you gotta watch the movie." And I go, "No, this is how it's gonna happen." And I go, "Wow, look what happened. They got together and they fell in love. And oh my god."
See, this is one of the moments where I took after our mother.
I'm sorry, everyone. Bill is no longer allowed to judge film because he thinks Hallmark movies are good.
I didn't say good. I just said decent.
That's giving them too much credit.
Our mother's gonna be very upset with you later.
I'm sorry, Mom. You know it's true. Deep down.
I was gonna say though, like Halloween movies at least are all mostly unique. Like Christmas movies, you get like literally like 12 of the same fucking Nightmare Before. Night Before.
Them are from the Hallmark Channel.
No, I'm not talking about those. Those are their own category. I'm talking about like the old like storylines, like Night Before Christmas, like Scrooge, like A Christmas Carol. Like, how many versions of Christmas Carol are there like now?
Is there a Barbie version?
Well, there's Barbie and the Nutcracker.
Ah, there we go.
Starring Sango and Moroku.
Yes.
Fucking love that shit. But anyways, I guess finishing off though, Halloween films, they're all very enjoyable. I still love that time. That was a fun time. Honestly, the fall's become my favorite season, like because we don't have to be in school anymore, so that automatically makes me like it. But also just like it's not super cold yet, but it's also not like everything's pretty and it's not like freezing and wet. And I hate the winter, if you couldn't tell.
I love the winter.
I don't.
I can't wait. Can it be winter?
Well, you never leave your house, so why do you care?
All right, you know what?
Hey, you said it, not me.
You bitch. I quit.
You've already done that.
Where's your podcast? I'm done. Nope, I ain't talking for the rest of the episode.
Oh,
Zipping my lips.
Good, I can do the ending.
No, never mind.
Well,
You
anyways,
sit in
guys,
silence.
once
You sit
again,
in silence.
thanks for joining us.
Silence.
I'll just mute you.
Silence. Silence.
Enough of that. Once again, guys, thanks for joining us on the Gaming Collecting Podcast. The Gaming Collecting Podcast can be found on all your major podcasting platforms, particularly Apple Podcast and Spotify. You can follow us on all of our links at linktree/thebarberwhogames, and you can join us on the Discord server, GNC Podcast Network, where you can talk gaming, anime, talk about the show. Just chat. We're all very nice there. We have a weird obsession with Kermit the Frog. I have no idea where that came from. But anyways, guys, until next time, we will see you all later.